In the small, forgotten town of Ravencroft, nestled deep within the shadowy confines of an ancient forest, there stood an old mansion. Abandoned for decades, it was known to the townsfolk as the Blackwood House. Once a grand estate, it had fallen into disrepair, shrouded in layers of dust and mystery. However, what truly set the house apart was the persistent rumor that it was haunted by an otherworldly presence: cats. One crisp autumn evening, a curious historian named Emily arrived in Ravencroft. Fascinated by local legends, she had come to investigate the tales surrounding Blackwood House. The townspeople warned her against it, their faces pale with fear as they recounted stories of eerie meowing and the sight of glowing eyes in the darkness. But Emily was undeterred. She was determined to uncover the truth. As twilight descended, Emily approached the mansion. Its once grand facade was now covered in ivy, and the windows were darkened with grime. The front door creaked ominously as she pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit hall. Dust motes danced in the fading light, and an unsettling silence enveloped her. With each step deeper into the house, Emily felt a growing sense of unease. The air was thick and cold, and shadows seemed to move just out of the corner of her eye. She made her way to the grand staircase, the wood groaning under her weight. As she reached the top, she heard it, a faint, distant meowing. Ignoring the chill running down her spine, Emily followed the sound. It led her to a long corridor lined with closed doors. The meowing grew louder, more insistent, as she approached the last door on the right. Her hand trembled as she turned the knob and pushed the door open. Inside was a small, dimly lit room. At first, it seemed empty, but then she saw them, dozens of cats, their eyes glowing an unnatural green. They sat in a circle facing the center of the room, where an ancient, tattered book lay open on a pedestal. The meowing intensified, echoing off the walls in a cacophony of sound. As Emily stepped closer, she felt a cold, malevolent presence wash over her. The cats turned their gaze to her in unison, their eyes piercing into her soul. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. The meowing grew louder, more frantic, surrounding her from all sides. Panicking, Emily fumbled for her flashlight and managed to turn it on. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing the cats had vanished. The room was empty, save for the book on the pedestal. Trembling, she approached it and saw the pages filled with incomprehensible symbols and dark incantations. Her heart pounded as she realized she was holding a grimoire of ancient, forbidden magic. As she stared at the book, the temperature in the room dropped further, and a deep, guttural growl emanated from the shadows. Emily's flashlight flickered and died, plunging her back into darkness. The meowing returned, now filled with a sinister intent, growing louder and louder until it was deafening. Terrified, Emily turned to flee, but the door slammed shut before she could reach it. The meowing transformed into a chorus of hisses, and she felt icy, invisible claws scratching at her skin. She screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the darkness. The townsfolk of Ravencroft never saw Emily again. Some say she was consumed by the darkness, becoming a part of the mansion's sinister legend. Others claim they can still hear her screams on quiet nights, mingling with the eerie meowing that emanates from Blackwood House. The mansion remains abandoned, a dark blot on the landscape, a place where shadows move of their own accord, and the air is thick with the echo of ghostly cats. And every so often, a brave or foolish soul ventures inside, drawn by the mystery, only to vanish without a trace, leaving behind nothing but the chilling sound of meowing in the darkness.